All right, let's get right into it. For any site manager or business owner, let's be honest, an unannounced OSHA inspection, it can be one of the most stressful days on the job. But here's the thing, it really doesn't have to be. Think of this explainer as your playbook. We're gonna walk you through the entire thing from that moment the inspector shows up, all the way to what you do after a citation, giving you the exact tools you need to handle it with confidence.
You know, it always starts the same way, doesn't it? There's no heads up, no advance warning, just a compliance officer holding their credentials ready to start an inspection. Your heart might be pounding, but this is the moment where you take a deep breath and you switch from just reacting to actually managing the situation.
And I'm not being dramatic here. What you do in these first few minutes is absolutely critical. It really sets the tone for the entire inspection and can literally impact the final outcome, potentially saving your company from some major fines and long-term headaches. So let's get you ready for that moment.
Okay, let's talk about your immediate game plan. When you're standing there face-to-face with that compliance officer, these are the first moves you need to make. And look, this isn't about being difficult. It's about being professional.
You know, these 4 simple steps, they're about more than just going through the motions. They're about shifting the dynamic right from the start. First, you professionally, politely verify their credentials. Then, you immediately call your designated point person. This is so important for a consistent, controlled response. Now, asking them to wait for an opening conference, that is key. It moves the whole thing from the noisy shop floor to a formal, professional setting. And let's be real, it buys you a few crucial minutes to get organized. And finally, in that conference, you ask for the scope. Why are they here? It's your right to know, and it helps you make sure the inspection stays focused only on what's relevant.
All right, so you've established a professional process. Now let's get into the inspection itself. It basically breaks down into 3 very distinct phases.
Understanding this timeline is like having a roadmap for the whole day. That opening conference, it's not just a formality, it's a negotiation. The walkaround, well, that's the actual physical inspection. And knowing how to manage that part is vital. And finally, the employee interviews, that's where the inspector gets their first-hand accounts. Knowing your rights and your employees' rights during this part is absolutely essential. So here's your playbook for the walkaround. First, you escort them at all times. Never ever let them wander around alone. You keep the path limited to the scope you both agreed on. And this next part is so crucial. You mirror their documentation. If they take a picture, you take the exact same picture from the exact same angle. They take a sample of something, you take one too for your own records. If you see something minor you can fix on the spot, do it. It shows good faith. And maybe most importantly, answer only the question you're asked. Don't volunteer extra information.
Okay, understanding the difference here is, well, it's everything. When a manager speaks to an OSHA inspector, their words can be seen as a legal admission by the company. It's that serious. That's why the company has the right to have a lawyer present. Now, for non-supervisory employees, it's different. OSHA has the right to a private interview with them. But, and this is a big but, the employee has rights too. They can actually refuse the interview, or they can ask for their own representative to be there. Make sure your whole team knows their rights.
So the inspector leaves, and you finally breathe a little sigh of relief. But the process isn't over yet. The next big moment is when that certified mail from OSHA shows up at your door. This right here is when the clock truly starts ticking.
If you remember one number from this entire explainer, please make it this one, 15. You have only 15 working days to respond to a citation. And I need to be clear here, that's working days, not just regular business days, which can sometimes trip people up.
And that 15-day window, it is a hard deadline. If you get your response in on time, you keep all your options open. You can negotiate, you can fight the citation, but if you miss that deadline, it's game over. The citation becomes a final order and you lose all your rights to challenge it. You have to make sure everyone in your company knows that certified mail from OSHA needs to get to management immediately. No delays. Okay, so you have the citation. You know your deadline. Let's open up the strategic playbook for how you respond. Believe me, you have some really powerful options if you just act deliberately. The informal conference is almost always your best first move. It's not a trial, it's just a discussion. This is your prime time to present your side of the story, to show them evidence they might not have seen during the inspection, and to negotiate everything from the fine amount to the actual classification of the violation. You should always request one.
And you have got to go into that conference prepared. Step 1, don't just assume OSHA got it right. Go read the standard they cited you for. Does it actually apply to your situation? Step 2, gather your proof. This is where all that good record keeping pays off. Pull out your training logs, your safety audits, anything that shows your commitment to safety. Step 3, Get your arguments ready. If you have the paperwork to prove something was unpreventable employee misconduct, this is the time to use it. And all of this preparation is what leads to step 4, a successful negotiation.
This quote just nails why you need a real strategy. I get it. It can be so tempting to just take a reduced fine, pay it, and move on. But that simple decision can really come back to haunt you. You see, a citation on your record, even one you settled, can be used later to issue a repeat violation. And those come with penalties that can be up to 10 times higher.
You know that penalty amount printed on the piece of paper? That's just the tip of the iceberg. The real financial hit of an OSHA citation goes way, way beyond that initial fine.
So what's lurking below the surface? Well, you've got that massive risk of a repeat violation we just talked about, but it also affects your ability to even do business. A lot of contracts, both private and government jobs, require a clean safety record. A citation can be used against you in a civil lawsuit. Your insurance company will definitely take notice. And finally, there's the damage to your company's reputation. So just accepting a citation as a cost of doing business, that is usually a very, very poor business decision.
And this really brings us to the ultimate goal, which isn't just about surviving an inspection. It's about building a really strong safety system where compliance is just the starting point, not the finish line. It's about making safety second nature for every single person on your team.
And that leads us to the last, and maybe the most important question you can ask yourself. Are you just checking boxes to be compliant, or are you building a genuine culture of safety? Because a culture where everyone, and I mean everyone, feels responsible for safety, that's your best defense against citations. And more importantly, it's your best tool for making sure everybody goes home safe at the end of the day. Subscribe to the HSEstudy YouTube channel for more practical workplace safety tips. Thank you.